Hey traders, in this video we are going to have a look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average, Sp500, Russel and Nasdaq to see what happened last night in the markets and where we are likely to move forward. So let's get into it. Alright, so let's get into it. Before I do start, trading the market is risky. You can cause substantial financial loss. It's not suitable for every single person in the markets, in the markets, because trading is an emotional game, and especially right now, you need to make sure you have good money management, good trade management, and good trade selection. It doesn't matter what sort of strategy you're trading, you've got to have good trade selection with a good tight trade criteria to help you identify good trading setups. Make sure you are doing that with yourself, because guess what? The market is hard. That's the reason why most people don't make money in the markets. So therefore, make sure you have a good trading system, has a good tight criteria. Now, let's have a look at the 3-month view over here. As you can see, right, we had a blast off. I thought we actually would pause at where we are right now and have a bit of a pullback. We didn't. We had another nice update, and and so based on that and based on what we're looking at there, it looks like that we may get more upside. And looking on the Sp500, we can actually see that this top here, you can see it broke through here. Now this top up here is where the other resistance is. So it'd be very, very interesting to see if it breaks this. If we do break this high up here, then we're likely to race to 2014, 2015 really, really, really quickly. So so that's what I see there on the S&P 500, guys. Looking on the Dow Jones, same thing. It's almost at its highs here, and you can see the resistance level all through here. It struggled so many times. That looks like a bit of a target where it is right now. So where it is right now and up there is a bit of resistance, but it does look like a bit more upside going there as well too. If I bring up, say, the weekly chart, you can see the weekly chart is just starting to hook over on the stochastics as well too. We've been down here, and it looks like it's trying to rev up to go up towards these resistance levels. So that's what I do see there, guys, on the Dow Jones. Looking on the Russell there. Russell had a major resistance level. Actually, there's probably a good area from there up through to there. So that whole area through there is a resistance level. You can see there's resistance over here, and so on and so forth. So we can see that's what's happening right now. We had a big run down, a big run back up. Now, a huge 1, 2, 3, 4 up moves, and now that's what we're seeing. We're seeing pretty decent up moves to the high side. So that's what we see on that one there. I'm not too sure about the Russell. That one looks a bit sort of iffy. If you go to the weekly chart, you actually can start to see we're getting a bit of divergence there on the weekly chart. So a bit of weakness on long-term stochastics. So that would be a very cautionary tale to look at there. Don't worry about the volume. The volume's not there. And looking at the Nasdaq had a really big update. This big gap here, this big gap here should be filled very, very soon. Had a big gap update. Now it ran up. It stopped right at the resistance level. So that there right now, when it looks at the resistance level, that there is getting very, very oversold. If you look at, say, the 4-hourly chart, you can actually see where we're at right now. So we've had a big run up. We are due for at least a pullback, especially on the Nasdaq. You can see here, right? We've had a big run up to the resistance level. We're out there right now on the stochastics on the 4-hourly chart. So, I would say we're likely to do that. If you look at the hourly chart as well too, the hourly chart, we've been pinned there for quite some time on the hourly chart. Very rarely does it do that. We've had a big run up. We've got a big gap there. I would say we're likely to get a bit more downside here on the Nasdaq to come and fill the gap at least. And if you look at the markets overall, on a whole, what happens with the markets? The market don't run straight up anyway. If it runs up and comes back down and fills the gap, it might run back up and continue. But that's for another day. I do see, guys, a big run up. It's hitting resistance level now. Everything's looking weak, especially on the weekly chart. You can see on the weekly chart over here that on the weekly chart you're getting a slight little divergence going on there from there through to there. You can really see it if I squeeze this right up. You can see, look at that there. Okay, so this is getting weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker. That's actually quite a weak sign overall with the stochastics doing that. Okay, when you generally get divergence, you generally get a decent move. You can see back here, if I go back to just the last time it happened, which is very, very obvious from here to here. That one there was basically from there to there, and we had a decent pullback. It wasn't a bear crash, but it was a pullback, and that's what I'm looking at there overall on the longer term time frame charts. Okay, so that's what I'm seeing there. But overall, guys, if you're looking at like the sort of the peaks and troughs levels and stuff like that, if you're looking at that there, we can see that we had a higher trough, a lower trough. This still is questionary to see if this is going to make a lower peak or not. This was the point here. This may be making a head and shoulder. You can see the left here. This could be the head, and this could be a right shoulder forming. I'm not saying that's what's happening. It is at an area of resistance where it is right now. This whole area here is resistance, as you can see. So I'm not saying it's going to make a shoulder here. If it does make a lower peak though, as we saw on the time frames, I do see we're likely to do this, come down and fill the gap pretty quickly on that as well too. But if we do race up to the top up here, then that should see breaking new highs once again for the year on the Nasdaq. So that's what I do see, guys, on the overall markets. It did back up. I was surprised to see it break up. I thought we're going to get a bit more of rejection than we did. We do have a couple of gaps on the Russell and the Nasdaq, and I do see we're likely to get a bit more downside to come. If you'd like to learn more about how I trade the markets and get a whole bunch of free education, a whole full course free education, 12 videos, 12 hours, teach you everything from the mistakes to trading techniques to trading systems, everything, then click on this button up the top here. See that little image there? Click on that there. It's going to help. It can take you over to a page where you can get access to a whole course, 100% free, to help you get ahead in the markets. This is John Howell here from officialjohnhowe.com. Remember, success can be yours if you go claim it. So step up, take massive action, and face your fears today.